else?
Appreciation to the Army leadership, starting with the Commander-in-Chief, for ensuring that the UPDF acquires the equipment and tools they need for us to do our job as enshrined in the Constitution of Uganda. Asante sana. Without wasting time,
the construction project started in May 2022, and we thank you, sir, for decentralizing the funds. This has really gone a long way to enable the divisions construct the required number of units in their respective areas of responsibility. I thank you, sir, for financing the Patrick Lumumba apartments that you commissioned today. To many of us, sir, the welfare of the forces is always number one on our daily agenda. When you wake up, you must ask yourself, do they have where to sleep? Do they have what to eat? Do they have medicine? In case of any move, do you have the vehicles in good mechanical condition? Do you have the fuel? So, sir, whatever has been put in place will be well protected from misuse and vandalism. Chief Guest, sir, we have done a lot in terms of operations, construction by the Engineers Brigade, and recently, our involvement in food security. That is the chieftaincy of production and welfare. However, our biggest problem is the vehicle maintenance and the repairs. Sir, for any minor repairs, we must go to civilian garages. We even hike the repair costs for no reasonable cause. Today, you have commissioned the motor vehicle maintenance facility. Land forces submitted the workshop requirements. These are the machines and the tools that will be used in this facility. Our concern is the availability of funds to initiate the procurement process for acquiring the equipment. We therefore request you, sir, to support Land Forces headquarters to get the required workshop equipment and tools. And sir, all of this has been your initiative. I thank you for initiating all the projects under Land Forces, and I request you to continue supporting us. So, sir, with those few words, may I have the permission Shida iko wapi?
Wacha tusiongeze mbele.
But what is the problem?
I think they going to work.
This is Chumoya.
In the land forces, when we receive our guest, the Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, we are very, very, very happy and excited to receive you here back. This is your home. Most of the projects here is your initiative. First of all, we need to thank him again, thanking him very much for his contribution in the UPDF, a very, very important contribution. When he came, there was no money for construction, there was no money for these projects. He himself, he put in a lot of energy until he got this money from Mbuya, from the Ministry of Defense headquarters. Without him, we wouldn't have moved this far. So I want all of you to stand up and clap for the General for his contribution in the UPDF. You can sit down. The General has not only stopped there, because you remember the last time I took over from him, the office of the Command Land Forces. Sir, you remember I told you that wherever we shall find some hurdles to jump, I'll be always coming to you. And this I have done. Recently, when we had some scarcity, I had to go to him, and it didn't take time. We are back on foot again on these projects. On the wall fence, by the time he left, we had worked on 2 kilometers. But because of his support, we are now 4 kilometers. We are remaining with 1.8, which with his support, we shall again achieve completing the whole fence around these barracks to improve the security. Na hiyo tunasema asante sana. I will not go back into the details of what is being done on the ground. Already the engineer has given us an elaborate explanation on the many, many projects that are going on in the brigades, in the divisions, and elsewhere. But, sir, I would like to note something that is out of these projects as Commander Land Forces. Of recent, we got some, I don't know if they are journalists here, civilians?
Yes, sir.
Oh, some of these things, I think I will explain to the General when we are alone. I don't want to go into other things. Sir, with this short brief, although I would have liked to, if they were officers alone, I would have talked about some of our own issues internally. But I think there is a report that I wrote. I've led some 2 teams now. The first team is when we went for preliminary investigations into the issues in Somalia. I gave you a copy on that report. I went back recently the second time to assess the effects of the implementation of the drawdown process there. I have some copies of the guidelines that we have given to the contingent in Somalia to address some of the weaknesses that our forces face and experience. All the reports, I think, have been brought to you. Amir? He has not yet brought them? They are there? Very good. So, with these few words, sir, I would like now to take this opportunity and honor wacha kamate mimi, sisi kamata jetu.
Wanaleta microphone.
Mkae. CLF, Lieutenant General Kayanja Muhanga, Deputy CLF, Chief of Staff, Land Forces, Division Commanders here present, Directors of Land Forces, the representative of Chieftaincy of Chief Engineers Brigade, the Commander SFC Construction Regiment, senior officers, junior officers, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be back here at Land Forces Headquarters in Bombo. This is the home of our venerable Land Forces. It is an honor to be back here. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this ceremony. As you all know, for a very long time, Bombo and the accommodation requirements of the Land Forces were not a priority. They were kind of neglected. The rebuilding of this old barracks started only a couple of years ago when we came in. Many of you might not know, but Bombo is a very old barracks. Actually, it's the oldest barracks in Uganda and one of the oldest in East Africa. It was, I've been doing some reading, it was established in 1906. Bombo was established in 1906. That is 117 years ago. And at that time, it was the home of the 4th King's African Rifles. 4 KAR is the unit that occupied Bombo in 1906. And you might think that most of the soldiers of that unit were Ugandans. They were not. They were mainly Indians, Somalis, and what they used to call was Swahili, so people from the coast. Bombo was considered a model station for the rest of East Africa. So you can see it has a very long history. Other places like Jinja came much later. Jinja was occupied or established in 1936, and it was the home of 6 King African Rifles. The overall commander at the time was somebody called Brigadier General William Manning. That was the first command of the King's African Rifles. That is the famous, I don't know, some of you if you know history, there's the famous, in Ankole there they call him Kachira Mchenche. He was taller than Mchenche grass, that William Manning. So you can see, and he was here, he was in Bombo. This was his headquarters. So you can see the history of this place is very, very rich. And we must really make the facilities here as good and as rich as that history. So it was painful
when I came in 2021 to see how run down the place had become. How run down the facilities had become here. I thank the President and Commander-in-Chief who agreed with us that Bombo should be rebuilt and gave us the resources to do so. Right away, we started rebuilding and renovating Bombo, and a lot has been achieved in a short time. The list of projects you have heard from Lieutenant Colonel Kainerugaba is long. From rehabilitating the house of the CLF, the Deputy CLF, Chief of Staff Land Forces. Now we're going to work on the Camp Commandant's house. All these houses were in very bad shape. Constructing guard houses, rehabilitating our gates. Our gates were all ramshackled. The perimeter wall, which you've heard of now, which is almost complete, and the operation center, and many more projects. Now, what we are commissioning today. I thank the CLF, Lieutenant General Kayanja Muhanga, and his team for continuing this very important program of rebuilding this barracks, as well as the much bigger effort in constructing barracks for all our divisions and brigades. Good barracks, good training schools, and in general good facilities are the hallmark of a professional military. You cannot talk of a professional army when the facilities are not there or are in a state of disrepair. Today, we are commissioning this new block of flats and the motor transport workshop. It is a historical achievement. This is the first apartment block commissioned at Bombo since the 1970s, I think. We started this work around June of last year, and it's taken the engineers about a year to complete. It would have taken an even shorter time, but they have been very busy with a lot of work throughout land forces, as you heard. I thank you for choosing to maintain our tradition of honoring the memory of the great commanders and warriors who built this mighty army of UPDF. Thank you for honoring late Colonel Patrick Lumumba by naming this block of flats after him. I applaud our engineers. I applaud our engineers, all of them, for their diligent, tireless, and determined work. They are implementing the ideas of self-reliance and self-sufficiency that are at the core of the UPDF's ethos. That is, as we say in Kiswahili, kujitegemea na kujitosheleza. These are the core. These are at the core of what makes UPDF unique: self-reliance, self-sufficiency. Kujitegemea na kujitosheleza. I congratulate you all for this achievement and urge you to maintain the pace of work. There is a ton of work that still needs to be done. A lot needs to be done. The goal should be good barracks with good accommodation, with good accommodations and facilities for all our battalions. I thank you very much. Mungu pamoja nasi. God bless Uganda. God bless UPDF. Asante sana.
Asante sana General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.